Imagine your mind is an operating system coded in your first 20 years, and generational fights are just software version clashes. If that's true, the era you grow up in doesn't just mark your age, it calibrates what feels fair, who seems trustworthy, how fast life should move, and what success even means. That early window writes default settings for patience, reward, authority, and meaning, which is why two people can use the same words and still talk past each other. They're pulling from entirely different dictionaries. Start with baby boomers, the stabilizers who came of age while the world was being rebuilt, and institutions promised lift if you showed up and stayed the course. Their nervous systems learned a simple, sturdy rule. Predictability equals safety. Loyalty, routine, working decades in one place, and respecting process aren't stubbornness. They're context-fitting strategies that made life make sense when systems were reliable and the future rewarded steady hands. The whiplash came when the world started sprinting globalization, the internet, gig work, culture moving in warp speed. Suddenly the map changed and the compass spun. For many boomers, retirement or sudden pivots don't just threaten income, they threaten identity. If I'm not the role I mastered, who am I? Their unlock in this faster world isn't clinging to titles, it's channeling experience into mentoring, focusing on legacy over ladders, and structuring new routines where contribution, not position, is the anchor. Now meet GenX, the quiet fixers, raised in the crosswind between analog and digital, amid rising divorces, layoffs, and 24-hour news cycles that taught one harsh lesson early. You might have to be your own backup. Independence became a necessity, not a brand. Skepticism, a firewall built after watching institutions and trends overpromise and underdeliver. Adaptability, the tool they used to keep things running when the lights flickered. They often keep their feelings private and their standards practical, which reads as aloof to some, but it's really emotional armor shaped by experience. Their superpower is crisis navigation and the ability to smell nonsense from a mile away. Their risk is silent burnout, doing everything themselves because asking for help still feels like a last resort. The upgrade for X is bounded optimism, pursuing selective bets with small trusted teams, swapping lone wolf mode for smart alliances, and reframing help as a speed multiplier rather than a weakness. Then come Millennials, the meaning chasers told to dream big, aim high, and follow passion, only to enter adulthood during financial meltdowns and social upheavals that shredded the old career script. Psychologists call that an expectation shock, when a brain primed for fairness meets chaos at scale. The result? Burnout, imposter feelings, and a nagging sense of being behind, even while doing a lot. At the same time, they're the first generation to choose impact and flexibility over status in massive numbers, prioritizing purpose, creative expression, and the freedom to design a life, not just a resume. But infinite choice has a price. Decision fatigue, comparison spirals, and the fear of picking wrong when there are hundreds of paths and endless highlight reels. Their upgrade is values-first planning, anchoring on 3 non-negotiables: health, skill, mastery, and community. For example, setting screen boundaries that protect focus, and trading perfection myths for small daily progress that compounds. Enter Gen Z, the always-on radar, who didn't discover the internet, they inhaled it from day one. Connectivity is their default environment, and that reshapes cognition. Rapid pattern spotting, context switching on the fly, and micro-learning at speed. The cost is cognitive overload, ambient anxiety from news, opinions, and alerts, identity getting mirrored by algorithms, and a constant hum of shoulds that can make originality feel risky. But Z also carries a powerful BS detector, a sharper sensitivity to inclusion and justice, and an instinct to build skills in stacks code plus design plus storytelling, because the world they inhabit rewards versatility. Their upgrade is a clean attention diet, notifications off by default, deep work blocks that protect flow, and a deliberate create more than you consume ratio that turns the fire hose into a fountain. And now Gen Alpha, the future beta testers growing up with AI sidekicks, personalization everywhere, and screens blending with reality. They'll have unprecedented access and customization, which can shrink patience while boosting knowledge. Their challenge won't be information scarcity. It will be self-anchoring, learning to feel real in a world where the line between physical and digital is thin. The antidote is presence training early, tactile play, outdoor boredom time, family rituals without devices, and creative projects that require slow, embodied effort so resilience and imagination don't get outsourced to the feed. Zoom out and you'll see a pattern. Each generation's core software starts with two ingredients: their first experiences of scarcity versus stability, and what society told them was the safest bet. For boomers, safety came from diligence and institutions. For X, from portable skills and self-reliance. For millennials, from networks, learning, and meaning. For Z, from control over attention and authenticity. For Alpha, from boundaries and creation in a personalized world. Layered on top are shifting dopamine loops. Broadcast media trained delayed gratification. The early web introduced faster feedback. And mobile social made rewards instant, reshaping patience, focus, and self-talk without asking permission. But none of this is destiny. Neuroplasticity is real, and updates are available. The fights we see online aren't about who's better, they're about whose world wrote which rules. Boomers defend process because it protected families. Gen X requests proof because disappointment taught caution. Millennials leave safe jobs for risky missions because meaning lights them up. Gen Z protects mental health because their nervous system is a precious resource in an always-on environment. Alpha will likely co-create with AI and redraw the boundaries of creativity itself. So how do we bridge the gap? Translate, don't judge. Turn rules into reasons for the young, speed into substance for the experienced, freedom into frameworks for the ambitious, and caution into curiosity for the skeptical. In teams, let boomers architect reliable processes, Gen X stress test risks, millennials craft the story and community, Gen Z iterate and ship in real time, and Alpha hack the tools and interfaces together. That's not a clash, it's a compound advantage. The mindset shift is simple and hard. Your era is your bias. Awareness turns bias into empathy. The next time you scroll past a "this generation is broken" post, ask yourself which version of the software you're judging with and which patch you might need. Because we aren't born different. We're trained by time, shaped by context, and capable of updates whenever we choose to pay attention.